Give me a second. I need to get my story straight. What pretending to be disabled looks like. Don't ask me. I don't know why I added this.
The most successful Paralympics ever, and especially for the intellectually disabled basketball team, dominating Russia in the final game, taking home that gold.
So who the LeBron of the disabled?
And the team's picture was splashed across newspapers throughout Madrid. People stared back in amazement, because these weren't the faces of intellectually disabled athletes, but rather professional basketball players cheating to win the Paralympics. If this sounds fucked up, it's because it is. And soon one of the biggest cheating scandals in sports history was about to break. Now, to some, the Paralympics is inspiration porn. To others, it's witnessing athletes overcome their disabilities. Or it's about what every other sport's about: winning. Let me be clear, the Paralympics is not a consolation prize. It's an elite-level competition with athletes who train for years just to qualify. And they have a disability. But there lies a question. If all Paralympic athletes have a disability, wouldn't the least impaired one always win? Yeah. So to make the competition as fair as possible on an even playing field, all athletes are medically and performance tested to see if they can qualify together.
Wait, so you telling me you gotta have like the same type of disability to be able to be in that category? Ain't that kind of like a weight league?
For example, an athlete with paraplegia is going to compete against someone with a double knee amputation.
That's kind of fucked up, ain't it?
What if an athlete held
you a little
themselves
too
back
smart to be in this
testing
league
on purpose? You know, like blowing lightly into a breathalyzer. Well, a few years back during the classification of a paraplegic hand biker,
I'm in league A.
Discovered that his lower back muscles were twitching. And then, like a miracle from God, the man could all of a sudden walk. After he confessed that he had borrowed his friend's wheelchair the day before the event because he wanted to see how far he could go. And of course, the guy was kicked out. But what if you were to fake an intellectual disability?
Together, your love turned the whole world on its head.
My love? On its head? So that means my love saved the whole world?
You were watching clothes dry. Audible. There's more to imagine when you
Man, get the fuck out of here. I thought you was telling me I changed the world. I guess I ain't changed shit. You telling me my love sitting here saving the universe?
Couldn't. The
I guess it
Paralympics
ain't.
was strictly for athletes with a physical disability, and the Special Olympics was for athletes with an intellectual disability. Until this guy came around, Fernando Martín Vicente, head of the Spanish Paralympic program. Now, Fernando was instrumental in getting the intellectually disabled class added to the Sydney Paralympics for the sport of basketball. Now, this was a groundbreaking decision that had never been done. It always had been for decades. Intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities were completely separated. And hopefully Spain wouldn't f*** it all up.
What's intellectual?
Now, Fernando's cushy job was very simple. More wins and gold medals meant more government funding for his Paralympic program. And while Spain was pretty dominant in most of the Paralympic sports, their new basketball ID team, I'm gonna be totally frank, they weren't too good. That year, they lost a string of minor championships throughout the world, and Fernando tried hiring new coaches, new training regimens, rotating the players, but it wasn't working. So feeling that he's exhausted every measure to improve the team before the Paralympics, he tells himself that just this once, he's gonna bend the rules a little bit. So in secret, finds among, friends of the coaches to include 4 players who did not meet the disability requirements, but would raise the competitive level of the team to win. So he puts the 4 players on the team, and they win the Brazil 98. They then win the Poland 99. And then he gets real ballsy and fills the entire team with non-disabled athletes. And of
so
course,
you telling me to the disabled people, this look like LeBron, D Wade, D Rose, Westbrook, shit, I don't know that many basketball players. Shit, I don't know.
Portugal. And for a team that was now losing, they were now dominating left and right. But you may say, Vince, this isn't even the Paralympics yet. Why was Spain already cheating like this? Now, remember the funding that was for his program? Well, that money was also embezzled into his non-profit, the National Association of Special Needs Sports. Fernando had received millions and millions from the Spanish government that he'd used to make himself a multimillionaire, all through this little non-profit. Now, with his humble beginnings as a school teacher and just 5 years of starting this non-profit, he owned 5 wineries, 3 estates, a sports club with a bull ring, and a yacht. You see, more gold medals wasn't just funding for his team, but for himself. But like all criminals, Fernando convinced himself that he was doing this for a good cause because some of that government money would help out the disabled, even though he was taking a huge portion of it for himself, but that's besides the point. But even worse, Fernando now felt that he couldn't win it all without the cheating. He had become addicted to it. Now for the Spanish basketball ID team, a team of 12 players, he was going to take to the Paralympics 2 players that were actually intellectually disabled. The other 10 were gonna be the fakers, the guys that fluffed the game. So you gotta wonder, who the hell were the other 10? He had an engineer, he had an attorney, he had a writer, he had 2 college basketball point guards, and 5 semi-professional basketball players. And together, with the promise of a free trip to Australia and hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorship money, they were gonna rig the Paralympics. Now in Fernando's eyes, Spain was guaranteed that gold medal, until the plan started falling apart in the second quarter of the first game. You see, Spain was up more than 30 points against China. They were playing so hard, the coach had to call a timeout, sit down the team, middle of the game, and say, move it down a gear or they're gonna figure out you're
y'all
not
playing too smart.
During the day, the team was winning, dominating, and at night, the team and the coaches would celebrate at Australia's hottest nightclubs, while they would leave the 2 intellectually disabled players alone in their hotel room all night. And when you really think about that, that's so
That's fucked
It's
up.
the final match, Spain versus Russia. They have one shot, one opportunity
This is y'all
to seize
league.
everything
Why
they've
they
ever
not
won.
partying?
Now, while Spain had to hold back for other teams, Russia made them work damn hard breaking a sweat because Spain almost lost the game. But I said almost because they beat Russia 87-63 and Spain starts popping bottles, celebrating. They're signing sponsorships left and right and they capture the moment on film for the world to see. But as the team flew back home to Spain, rumors began to swirl online because some of these players in their victory picture looked a bit too familiar. Remember that writer that played on the team? Well, that was Carlos Ribagorda, an undercover journalist, and just 1 week after the win, he blows the whistle on the entire scam of the Spanish Paralympic team. And the world is absolutely blown away.
The Spanish Federation did not hesitate to sign up athletes with any type of disability. Besides taking my blood pressure, there was no medical or mental
He brought
testing.
the whole team down.
Doctor forged documents to prove we were mentally disabled. Spain simply wanted to win more medals. I played pickup basketball, and when a friend offered me the opportunity to play on Paralympic team, I took the opportunity to write an expose. Spain did not just use non-disabled athletes in basketball, but also track, table tennis, and swimming.
Now, in Carlos's eyes, there was one person to blame for this entire thing: Fernando Martín Vicente. But definitely not himself, right? He was exposing the conspiracy by participating in it for over 2 years.
Nigga, you was a part of it.
Now, immediately, the IPC and the Spanish government would open up massive investigations into this entire scandal that wouldn't end for over 10 years. Now, Spain would be ordered to give all of its medals back, and for the 2 players that actually were intellectually disabled, man, I can't even imagine the pain those players must have felt. And now Russia would get
They
the
was
gold
probably
medals,
getting
right?
yelled at saying that y'all not even like us.
Well, see, the Paralympic Committee investigation found that every
You know how
country had
that must have
participated
made
more or
them
less
feel?
in similar frauds and cheating at the Paralympics. Let that one sink in real quick.
What'd he say?
It's time to ask more of our browser. Hey Copilot, adjust all these recipes for 7 guests
These
and combine
fucking
them into one cooking schedule. Also, I'm out of milk.
I need to put YouTube in a fucking headlock and pepper spray their ass with a little taser or some shit. Cause then they keep giving me these 20-second ads with no skips. Like, the fuck am I watching YouTube
Some
for?
countries had
If I wanted to watch ads, I would watch Hulu or Amazon or some shit. Play, bruh.
used athletes with dyslexia claiming they were intellectually disabled. Australia admitted 3 of its players weren't even disabled. And Russia, they couldn't even prove their players were disabled.
Up. We ain't hear what the fuck he said.
And cheating at the
made me
Paralympics.
forget.
Let that one sink in real quick. Frauds and cheating found that every country had participated more or less in similar frauds and cheating at the Paralympics. Let that one sink in real quick. Some countries had used
that's
athletes
crazy.
with dyslexia claiming they were intellectually disabled.
We had to rewind
Australia
on that
admitted
part.
3 of its
Every
players weren't
country?
even disabled. And Russia, they couldn't even prove their players were disabled. So if you look today on the IPC website, it actually lists no one for the gold medal winner. Russia would never get the gold. They couldn't even prove their own players were disabled. So after having this class, intellectual disability, for 1 year, they decided to ban it for 9. Now,
Wow.
online, you read about this scandal. They always portray Carlos Ribagorda, the guy who went undercover, as a hero, the guy who revealed the dark truth. Snaps
he
and
was a
claps
part
for
of it.
Carlos for cleaning up the Paralympics over here. But let's really think about what he did. He pretended to be disabled for 2 years to write one article. Yet, he never recorded any conversations. He never took any photos, documented absolutely
Exactly.
nothing. Why
The
didn't he
only
come
reason
clean
they
about
go
this
out with
earlier?
him
His
is
choice
because
to
he was
reveal
the
this
first
whole
person
thing
to
last
talk
minute
about it.
has caused so many athletes to not get sponsorships, scholarships for 9 years. And what I think's revealing is that Carlos to this day has said nothing publicly about this story. Because why did Carlos choose to expose the team only after people started recognizing their picture in the newspaper?
Because he got caught.
Well, here's my whole theory. Carlos was in on the whole scam. He was there to make money, he was there to cheat. But once that picture started getting people's attention, he realized, well, in order to save myself, I need to expose the team before the scam exposes me.
How much harder
One of
I
the
gotta
great
say
unknowns
yeah?
still to this day is, why did any
The
of these
full-
10 players agree to do this? Only one player's ever said anything about this, and everyone else has shut up. Now, the team was allegedly told that this was legal and normal. They would be on the Paralympic team as collaborators, and that it was normal to mix teams of disabled and non-disabled players to balance the game, and that this would be more like social work, because all the money that was won would go right back to the disabled, even though it went right back in Fernando's pockets, but that's besides the point. But like, how do these players justify this trip to their family? Like, one of these guys was an attorney. Like, how do you justify to your firm, like, oh, I'm leaving for 2 weeks to go play in the Paralympics? And the thing I think is so dumb was they used their real names. Like, how stupid
That's
do you have
stupid
to be? Well,
as
they're Spanish,
hell.
so that says a lot. Now, when the scandal broke, Fernando sat on the board of the IPC and so many of these nonprofits that focused on intellectual disabilities. And immediately after this thing broke out, he was forced to resign from all of them. Now, his case would take 13 years to finally go through and be charged with fraud. Now, the prosecutor was asking for 2 years in prison for the fraud, for the embezzlement, for the embarrassment of the Spanish people. I mean, this is like the one event you don't want to cheating. Though Fernando had one comment to make,
Especially since it's
Carlos was
relying
doing
on
basketball for 2 years,
disabilities.
has played-
Why are you cheating in a league that rely on disabilities? I would have thought that they wasn't taking it that serious, but that's crazy. They should be allowed to have fun how they want to. Why are you coming in and trying to make it most top competitive? I know I know it's a competitive league, but it's like, bro, it's a competitive league, but you taking it way too serious. Like, they could take it serious. They could do. I don't know. It's because I don't want to sit here and say the wrong thing. Cause I know how some people gonna take it and some people gonna not agree with me and stuff like that. But if they taking it seriously, people with disabilities, that's what I mean by that. If people with disabilities is taking it serious, why not just let people with disabilities be the coach, be the damn team, and be the damn referees and stuff? If it's a whole disability league. So then that way, ain't no way for you to cheat, ain't no way for you to do any of this. Everybody gotta be a part of that spectrum. That's the only way that it's gonna be even. Cause then if you get a damn coach that's in a right state of mind, I'm not saying that they all wrong state of mind. That's in a right state of mind, and a coach that's like somebody off the street or some shit, he gonna come in and he gonna be like, these people ain't really as good as I want them to be. I could probably go and get my homie or something, and he'll do way better, and then we could sneak and make millions off this shit, make billions off this shit, and nobody will know. But then my homie gonna have to act special needs his whole life, basically, the rest of his life. So I feel like that's the only way you could make it even and fair is if everybody is a part of that spectrum. This is just me talking my mind.
played the tournaments, won the Paralympics, but then 20 days later says that he is not disabled. If he was not retarded before, now he is. If someone does something like this, they are disabled.
Fernando Those words, not mine. But on the day of his sentencing, he pulled up in his brand new BMW 7 Series, walked in the court, and he was given a €5,400 fine. And everyone else in the scandal was let off the hook, and it was a picture-perfect ending. Now, today, Fernando still lives life as the president of his nonprofit that still receives millions from the Spanish government for intellectual disability. He owns all of his properties, he's traveling around the world, he's living the life. But I wonder if all of the people he's helping out really know about what he's done.
Hell no. Was that the end? Well, I just cut off like that. But that's crazy. That is crazy. But YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. I will see y'all next time on the next video. Peace.